The Joe Rogan Experience.
Here's the thing, and I know this is going to sound horrible because I think even if Jesus were to come back, he would even say, enough with the refugees. Like, I think, we got to not fuck up the whole world and then take them all in. Like this writer, Steve Saylor, said, he had a great quote, invade the world, invite the world. Can't do it. We can't go around fucking everything up, and then all these people show up, and we go, well, we owe them. I go, I don't owe them. I didn't do it. I didn't bomb them. Well, your tax dollar. It's like we have to stop letting people destabilize all these countries and then let them in. We have floods of refugees in
Why
Europe.
do you think the refugees are coming in from the southern border like they are? Why do you think they're allowing that to happen?
It's economic migration, and the reason is that a lot of these business owners and rich people benefit from cheap labor. They want gardeners, they want nannies, they want chefs, they want people doing their nails. They want if you
Do you think
own
they've thought of that and said, let's let them in so they can do our nails?
Of course they don't want to pay American wages. If you can hire someone at $3 an hour or whatever it is, off the books, illegal labor. You know how many construction projects go up with illegal labor? You know how many of these construction projects in Miami? They're building like 20 new towers in Miami with floating bathtubs for Bitcoin criminals. And God only knows the Paul brothers, and God bless everybody. I like them. But like they're building all these big towers in Miami. How's that? I'm not doing it. It's illegal labor.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. Now, DeSantis shut that down, and all the construction projects are grinding to a halt. Because there's a lot of illegal labor being used in putting up certain buildings.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
This is a huge part. This is what, or we're to believe that the people living in Greenwich, Connecticut love El Salvadorians. It's one of the two. It's one of the two. It's either that they're benefiting financially from it, or there's a housewife in Greenwich going, I'd love an arepa.
New Florida immigration rules start to strain some businesses. Some employers say they were losing workers because of the new law, which is championed by Governor Ron
look at this photo.
DeSantis. A dude roofing a house.
This is
building a house.
We have this massive housing boom that was enabled not only by the low interest rates, but by you have to have people to build these houses. What do you think D.H. Horton, all these companies they don't admit to it.
So how do you mitigate that? So you think that's literally why they're letting everyone in? You don't think it has anything to do with voting?
Yes, it has a lot to do with voting. It has to do with
allow people to register.
Certain demographics are better for the Democrat Party, and we know that. However, Republicans, up until recently, didn't care that much because they thought they could turn Latinos Republican, and some of them will. Some Latinos are Catholics, and they go, we don't want to do gender monopoly and gender musical chairs or whatever games they're playing over there. We're going to stick with, and a lot of Latinos don't vote. So you have a large percentage of people that don't subscribe. They go, the political system's bullshit. Who cares?
Well, also you have the Biden administration sending people back.
That's right.
From Venezuela.
Yeah.
The Venezuelan people who escaped a communist government, they would vote Republican.
Yeah,
get out of here.
You got to go. So they don't want to let more Cubans in from Miami. They don't want to let more Cubans in. No. But I think the economic interests of these people are we can bring in people that will do the work for nothing.
Yeah.
The Tyson chicken raid. This was the big thing. The immigration, the raid that whatever ICE or whoever did on the Tyson chicken factory. There's a big story during Trump's term. They raided that. African-American unemployment dried up in the months after that because the Tyson chicken factory had to hire Americans. So when these companies are forced to hire Americans and pay American wages, they do.
Right.
But until they're forced to do that, they're going to rely on largely illegal, unregulated labor. And that's in their personal lives and private lives. So if you can hire a landscaping company to come to your Hamptons house or your house in Bel Air or Greenwich or here, wherever. There's beautiful places here too.
It seems like such
Spanish
an insane
Oaks,
strategy to just keep the border open. It seems like such a fucking dangerous move. Chicken plants lured them. Feds jailed them. How Mississippi's immigration crisis unfolded. Oh, the chicken factories. Undocumented workers were once considered an acceptable part of our economy. Now they are demonized. Interesting.
And again, I'm not saying like this is a great thing to do these raids, and obviously there's human costs, but what tends to happen when you lose illegal labor, you have to hire Americans. And they don't want to do that. Why is the Chamber of Commerce pro-immigration? Why are the Koch brothers open borders advocates? Is it because David Koch loves people from Central America? Or is it because he wants to drive down the cost of wages? He believes in a market rate. And a market rate is, hey, anyone will do it. This is the problem with kind of that libertarian type of philosophy. It just doesn't work if you import the third world to America.
Right.
That doesn't really work because then you're setting wages. People on Park Avenue in Manhattan go, yeah. What does that guy want? $4? Let's find someone to do it for $2.50.
So is this idea to try to compete with other countries that do this, like China?
That is one of the ideas. The other idea is to get a 9th sailboat.
Yeah.
It's people that go, where are our profits? How can we maximize these profits?
What's the bottleneck?
How can we maximize? How can
we
we
have
put
a
up
cheap labor bottleneck?
How can we put up 100 houses for just the material cost and a minute labor cost?
And what do you think about? There's a real. I think there's a bill that just got brought up where they're trying to stop these companies from buying up houses.
Yeah, BlackRock and all those guys.
And they're trying to stop them from doing that because they think that they're controlling the housing market.
Yeah, it's pricing single-family homes. These are the big problem. The big problem is single-family homes.
So here it is. Hedge funds have invaded the housing market. A new bill would ban them. A sweeping new bill introduced in Congress would essentially ban hedge funds and private equity firms from buying single-family homes.
There you go.
This is interesting.
Yeah, this prices out a lot of people.
Do you think they're going to vote on this? This seems like one that's going to be very interesting to see how they vote.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
Bill, which was introduced both the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives on Thursday, would, over a 10-year period, require hedge funds and large institutional investors to completely divest from single-family home ownership. Called the End Hedge Fund Control of American Homes Act, the bill would require large funds to sell off 10% of their homes each year over a decade.
Well, basically what they want to do is create a nation of renters.
How do you feel about this, though? How do you feel about a ban?
Well, there's a lot of people that own those houses that are not going to be happy with a ban because they want BlackRock coming in and giving them more money than the house is worth.
How much more do they give them?
They can give them, 30% above.
Really?
Which is money.
And then they just lease those homes out.
And they lease them out. It's part of this idea that home ownership and automobile ownership and all of these things, eventually are going to be replaced by more effective. Whitney Webb is somebody I've had on my show, and she's
wild.
She's wild, and she knows her stuff. Patrick Bet-David had her on, and when she came on my show, she made a lot of great points about these legacy systems that people want to get rid of, and they go rent a house, use Uber, Lyft, whatever. You don't need to own. What does owning do for you? That's that famous article, You'll Own Nothing and Be Happy.
Right.
So I think the ban would sort of put the brakes on that, I guess. The problem is a lot of these companies find ways around these bans. You got to remember, these are the smartest people in America that become, and I don't mean smart like contemplative intellectuals. I mean shrewd, effective sociopaths. They're really adept. When I say smart, I don't want people going, you think that. I don't mean that. I mean, they're very effective at gaming the system. They're 10 steps ahead of all these laws that are being passed. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to pass the laws, but like a lot of these people are already anticipating that and then how to get around it.
I'm fascinated to see how that bill does.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they would put extraordinary pressure to make sure that bill does not get passed.
They're not going to allow that bill to get passed.
It seems like you're going to find out who's on board.
Well, again,
when
RFK came on my show and called out BlackRock, Vanguard, I know he did it on your show too,
Yeah.
BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street as these companies that own everything. I got a lot of messages from a lot of financial people going, well, everybody's portfolio is tied up in that. This is part of the whole issue with everything.
Right.
It's the Thomas Sowell thing. There's no solutions. There's only trade-offs. It's hard to get honest at this deep in the scam. that is our financial system. It's like hard, any deleveraging, any winding down of the military industrial complex, all of this will have ramifications in our society, financially for people across the board. Anything you want to, I'm not saying you shouldn't attempt to do it, but like anything like this, like you go, I don't like illegal immigration. It's like, okay, your house is more money now. You go, oh. They go, okay. I don't want Chinese people buying real estate. Okay, well, maybe, and maybe the, real estate industry is going to take a hit. Not only realtors, but people that work in that business, right? Property managers, interior designers, architects, people that stage homes, appraiser, whatever it is, people might take a hit. This is part of the issue of where we're at now. You ban BlackRock and all those things from getting in there. That's fine. And then, people will take a hit financially with their portfolios.
But do you think that how many people have to vote yes on this? Like, how many people are involved in this decision?
Well, it would have to pass 2 houses of Congress and then get signed into law by the president. Now, that seems very unlikely.
It's wild.
Seems very unlikely because BlackRock will have a great argument as to why they're helping people. They'll get out there and they'll be like, hey, man, we're here and we're buying these fucking houses and the people that we're buying them from love us. The boomers love BlackRock. The boomers will get on a BlackRock cruise with BlackRock shirts. The boomers, because one of the problems in the American real estate market is boomers will not sell their houses for anything under a $1.6 million profit. They just won't. They won't because they like to lord them. They like to lord around them. They like to make their kids feel guilty. They like to go, you could never afford it. They like to tell you how cheap the house was when they bought it. And then this is every Thanksgiving or Christmas, somebody will go, pick this up for $200,000. Now it's worth 1.8. Yeah. And then it's their millennial kids are sitting there saddled with student loan debt. And the boomers it's their last fuck you before they leave the planet.
Yeah.
They're a spiteful generation of monsters. I respect it. But their last fuck you before they leave the planet is instead of selling their houses for, I don't know, a $900,000 profit, they just won't put them on the market. Some boomers, which is hilarious, that we read the articles on my show, they're actually retiring to bigger houses. They're sizing up. It's sick. It's like insane. And so that becomes an issue too of like, it used to be like you would have a house, the kids would move, you'd stay in it probably for another 10 or 20 years, and then you'd get a condo. And you'd go, I'm out. Yeah. Fuck do I want to mow lawn for? Yeah. Now the boomers are going, this is the only thing we have that makes us truly valuable in society is that we own this like a McMansion. And we're not giving this up. We are tax-paying citizens, and we are not giving this up. And our kids are going to come here every year, and they're going to suffer through the size of our house with 9 empty bedrooms while they live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and we're gonna chastise them for their decisions and their choices.
And the McMansion defines you. And your car that you drive up to the
That's
McMansion
right.
in, all that defines you. Where are you vacationing?
That's right.
Where are you going?
That's right. And they're going to go, because they all bought those houses for very little money, and they are going to hold them over everybody's houses until they are found dead in them. They will not leave those houses until they're taken out in an ambulance. The most important thing for the boomer is to be right. And that's their main thing. They're not a soulful group. They've been around forever, but they've attained very little wisdom. It's actually kind of impressive. They're the most American generation of people that have ever lived. They're deeply selfish, self-aggrandizing, paranoid, delusional. But one of the things that makes them right is what they have. They go, well, how can I be wrong? Look at this fucking house. Look where we're sitting. I've got 13-foot ceilings. Don't tell me you know about Gaza. You don't.